fine.
5 minutes later.
Oh boy. Oh my god. My shoes are wet. The cage looks bitchin'. Geyser cage. Really badass. Oh man, there's shit all over the glass. Here we go. It's Sunday. We're getting ready for the King of the Hammers. I just finished hooking up this machine with all sorts of goodies. We got, well, we did the cage in the last video, but we got steering wheel from Geyser. We got some trim plates, some freaking number plates. I put some PRP harnesses. Looks freaking amazing. It's ready for the King of the Hammers. None of it's wired up. That'll be a separate video. But today's video, we're actually catching up on the X3. I want to show you guys some of the stuff I've done with the turbocharger, what I've done as far as install. I installed it. Some things left to do here and there, and you guys will help me with that right now. But yeah, she's there, she's sitting, she's waiting for her favorite event of the year, my favorite event of the year, and that's King of the Hammers. And as dusty as it gets, and I've already seen some of the videos on Instagram because the event's going on right now. It's like a week-and-a-half long event. It's dusty as all hell, and it always is. King of the Hammers is a freaking mess, but it's so awesome. So much good footage coming up. That'll be probably the next video, King of the Hammers. This one is just gonna be an update on this machine. And this thing has been a big, giant, not so much pain in the butt, but I have been working on it little by little here and there. It's been a waiting game as far as parts goes. I didn't have the correct parts for the clutching. I didn't have the correct parts. There's a couple things on the turbo itself. Well, not the turbo, but wrong charge tube. Let's get into it. Let's get into the big turbo. This is a Desert Storm 355 kit that they offer, or they used to offer. Now that's been replaced with the Paragon kits, but essentially it's the same exact thing. And maybe I should turn on the LED in here. Here we go. There she is in all her glory. This is a big dog. So this is gonna make essentially 355 crank horsepower. I believe it's like 290 or 285 at the wheels, which is a lot for this machine. And it's gonna be a mover. It's gonna run. So in order to run that, I had to put some studs in it. I put ARP studs in it. I was gonna film a video, but it was kind of hard to do because I didn't exactly remove the bed. And you're supposed to remove the bed because it makes it a lot easier. And obviously for you guys, it would have been great so I could show you guys with the camera, get in there. But it was really hard without, you know, without having shitty angles. I couldn't record the video. I tried, and my buddy CJ was helping me, and it was really terrible because all I had was removed the intercooler, and I had this little window up here, but it was just a pain in the ass. So if I do it in the future where I pull off the bed and I can work on the machine just over instead of me going up there or working on it from up here, then I'll record a video on how to do the head studs because some people have requested it. So I did head studs on this machine. I also did turbo, like I said, and then the intercooler, which you see up there, this big dog right here. I decided to put on the EVP intercooler because I bought that with the turbo as a whole kit. I used to run the CNR Racing or the PWR, which is the same brand, which essentially makes the Evo intercoolers, honestly. I used to run theirs, and that was great. I was gonna keep running this one. Now this is the older 2017 through 2019 intercooler, and it's actually shorter, but I had no problem with that. It's not like this is a race car. I'm not using it for race. I'm still gonna be doing it in this, and I'm still gonna be riding in the desert, and it's still gonna be my family bus. So I was gonna run that intercooler, but I had an issue with the charge tube. So the charge tube that goes from the turbo to the intercooler, this guy, it wasn't the same. So I couldn't really run that intercooler with this turbo. And I tried getting a different tube and it wasn't the correct one, or it fit loosely on the intercooler, and I don't want to have issues with boost leaks. So I said, F it, I'm gonna run this intercooler. And I did have to modify the bed. So I'm gonna show you that real quick. I had to cut this bed out here, pretty much cut the whole cassette out. So this is pretty much floating right now. And I have the tip up brackets from Evolution Power Sports. I have those being powder coated right now, and that's going to be set up right here. It's going to tip up the intercooler just a little bit. I also moved my catch can that used to be right here. I have an Evo catch can over here. I might switch it out. I might swap this whole setup out because I don't like how it's set up in here. I did this last second one night and it was a bad idea. I don't know if you guys can see it in there. I'm currently not running the heat shield. It's not hot right now. We're in the middle of winter, or not really winter, but it's pretty cool outside, and King of the Hammers is gonna be cold as hell. I put my catch can over here, and as you can see, it moves a tiny bit, and also it's really close to this clamp for the limit straps. So I'm not 100% if I like that. Let me see if I can show you guys from the top here. You see it's right there, and it's not touching, but it's almost touching. And I think when the shot goes full extension, it might touch, which is not a big deal, but it kind of feels like it's gonna move a lot. And we'll see if that breaks the plastic, because that's all it's attached to via bolts. But we'll see how that holds up. So I moved the catch can because I wanted to kind of keep it freed up right here. I don't run the back cover. I got, you know, an exhaust here that looks pretty cool. I like how the intake looks, and overall it's going to show off the engine package. So when we're out tuning, this is pretty much the setup. No cover, no outlets, and overall it's going to look dope. Oh, on top of that, I put a big ass rock light that 5150 offers now. I think it's 10 inches or 8 inches. I'll turn those on real quick. And it matches all the other, obviously, lights that I have. I know we covered this in the past, but a lot of guys don't know. 5150 makes 187 rock lights that match the whips. And here's some right here, but I put one right above basically the intake. And at night, it looks so freaking cool from behind. Like, you can see everything. It looks dope. And I'm really happy with that. And that's that big 8-inch. You can probably see it right there. Today, I'm gonna actually swap this Helix out for a different Helix that was recommended to me by the boys over at Evo. Shout out to Gavin. I have the correct spring in there, I just don't have the correct Helix. I mean, this one will work, but he recommends to get out of the hole a little bit quicker is a different Helix. So I'm gonna swap that out right now. What else have I done while you guys haven't been watching, huh? I don't know. I haven't done much else. I mean, I swapped out these belts for the kids. I put 4.2s in here because the 4.3s were too big for them. And then I did replace my fuel pump assembly and tank, and you guys probably didn't see that. Let me see where my old tank is at. Boom, look at this. Super Smash Brothers. So this actually bent my fuel pump inside, so I had to replace the fuel pump. The tank was messed up, and that's probably from the crash the last time. I really don't know. It might be a vacuum lock. So anyways, that had to be replaced. I replaced that when you guys weren't watching. I actually have an Evo, or not Evo, it's the Trail Tank, bigger fuel tank on its way, but it wasn't gonna get here on time, so I replaced it with a stock one. I'll probably show you guys how to install one of those Trail Tanks in the future, because a lot of guys like those because you can run E85, but run a ton more fuel and still get to your destinations and come back and not have to worry about carrying extra fuel. So a couple other things I did here on the machine is that the cluster bezel actually got sent out to get powder coated. I'm just gonna powder coat it blue, kind of give a little bit different color here. I actually added a intercom to this thing. We didn't have intercoms before, and I decided maybe I should run an intercom for the kids and the wife. So I got new lines here, and that's my remote intercom. Really hard to see. Let me zoom back in there. This is my remote intercom. And what I mean by remote is it's not a unit like the typical ones you're used to seeing. The unit is back here, and this is just pretty much the control, so I could, you know, turn up the volume on the intercom and whatever. So that's really cool. I'm really happy that I put that there. Right here is where the lines are going to come out. Chris at Stage Flush is going to make me some custom mounts here, but we'll wait for him to do that. And then he's going to make me another one to go on the back here. He's going to put it pretty much, it's literally just a piece of sheet metal, honestly, flat plate, and then we'll have these coming out with flush mounts right here somewhere. So that's gonna be pretty dope. I'm excited for that too. We're gonna powder coat that blue, and it's gonna match the front, so it's gonna kind of have the same vibe from front to back. I did install this headset hanger from Chupacabra Off-Road. Shout out to Nick. That is a great product. I put that on there. I also mounted this guy, so now this is a unicorn. So Robbie Gordon, I got the unicorn. Check it out. I put one of these 5150 mounts with a Chupacabra Off-Road whip mount. You see that there, and that's for, you guessed it, the 360 camera like I've had in the rear. The difference with this one is going to be, well, I do have the longer poles, and that's going to be great, but I wanted to make a shorter one. I think this is still not short enough. Probably put one like right here, so I could turn around and see myself, and turn around and see the action. So that's just a different angle that I'm trying to get for you guys for the content. So that's great. And what else, man? Not much else. Freaking car's been just sitting here waiting to get ripped, but I've been waiting for parts in the turbo, and finally I got everything except for some brackets. I'll install those later, probably tomorrow. Just been waiting, man, just been waiting. I'm getting it ready. I do have new rims for my sand paddle setup, which we're not going to use at Johnson Valley, obviously, but I do have a trip planned for Glamis, and we will be using a new set of paddles and rims, and the rims are freaking insane. I have to go pick those up, but the tires, boy, these are Demons 16 paddle, I believe. They are gonna move some sand, maybe more paddle than I need, but these are definitely gonna do the job. The 32s, I was thinking about going like with a 34. I know Rogue came out with 34s. I know the Methods, or not Method, but Tensor came out with 33s. But, well, we sell Sandcraft, and Sandcrafts, they've been good to me. So we're gonna run Sandcraft again, 32s. And yeah, I'm excited to run this many paddles with this much power in Glamis. Is gonna be insane. So we'll have to wait and see. We're gonna be running 35s for King of the Hammers. These are on the Metal Effects wheels. I have not run these yet, so hopefully everything will be good. I got billet knuckles on the machine, so if you guys are curious, a lot of guys don't like running 35s because it damages stuff. I'm hopefully bulletproof. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, because I know these cars can be potentially weak when running such a big wheel, but these are probably the lightest 35s on the market, or one of the lightest 35s versus some of the other ones are big and heavy. And honestly, they're not actually 35s. They're only measured to like 33 on the car. And the point I was leading to is we got aftermarket hubs, or not hubs, but knuckles from TAW TV. We got those on the website. Those are so freaking beefy. I didn't cover these, but I did this before the sand show. Battery died. Anyways, the weakest part on these X3s is usually the arms, but once you replace the arms and put a gusset kit, then the next weakest spot is near the knuckles and ball joints. And hopefully I'm covered with these badass billet knuckles and obviously these badass ball joints that LME TV makes. Hopefully the 35s would be just fine, and if they don't, well, I'll break the car and we'll show you guys on camera. So what's the problem? One other thing I got to replace on this machine, and probably not necessary for King of Hammers, but maybe before we do the Glamis trip, is I got a new driveline from Sandcraft. There it is. It's both halves, and as you guys know, the drivelines can be weak when you add this much power to the machine. So that's going to be hopefully my savior when it comes to the driveline. Hopefully the driveline doesn't twist up on me on King of Hammers. I doubt it. I'm not gonna be doing a bunch of crazy pulls. I'm gonna feel the car out, as well as I'm gonna keep my eyes on the air fuel ratio to make sure everything is dialed and I didn't mess anything up. But today, all I'm really gonna do is install the secondary helix, and you guys will help me with that right now, as well as for whatever reason, that SMB particle separator won't turn on. So I'm gonna check if I have power and ground at the connector and see what's going on with that. I'm gonna go ahead and check if I have voltage there. I mean, we should. Also, when I had the tank off, I also replaced the pump. That's part of the package. Also replaced the injectors. All right, turn on the SMB. I should have power here at this main connector here. And I got 11.8 volts, so I do have power. All right, so I'm not sure why that's not turning on. I'm gonna put that connector back together and probably check connections everywhere else. But it should be working. I don't know what's going on here. Let me see. Oh, it works. You know what it is? I mean, it's on. You guys probably can't even hear it. It's so lightly on. It turned on, but I heard it turn on like almost like there was a rock stuck and it went. But it's working now. All right, so the fan does work. Maybe I was just tripping. For sure, I gotta install that helix, but another thing I also gotta install is this new Big Dog charge tube from RPM. So they sent me this charge tubes out. I asked Jason if he could send me one out because the current one that I had, the diameter of the blow-off valve was different. I had the Evo charge tubes, and they're great, but I wanted to run a RPM valve because they're loud as all hell, and there's that. I want to run this, but the port was different, so I asked him, let's run one of the tubes, and he sent me this one that is super reinforced, which is perfect because obviously I'm going to be running a lot of boost, and that's going to go in there, something like that, and we're going to replace the current setup. All right, so hopefully this thing really pushes some power, man. This kit wasn't cheap. I got it secondhand from a guy that watches the channel. So here's the old tube. Now, by the way, nothing wrong with this tube. This is the same as the RPM tubes. Honestly, they're pretty both the same quality. But this one obviously has that reinforcement, and that's going to be the biggest difference for me. So, especially running this much boost. It's like 34 pounds. I know guys get a lot more, you know, range into the 45s. I want this motor to actually survive. You know what I'm saying? Most of those guys that run higher boost than 35 pounds, they have to get like major engine work. I'm talking about pistons and rods, and well, fuck, I don't know what else. These engines are pretty good, but definitely pistons and rods. Man, this thing does not want to flex. She's definitely thicker. Every time you guys install some of these or having issues with a tube going over on something like on an intake component like this, I always use a glass cleaner, because when glass cleaner dries up, or even soapy water, when it dries up, it's good. You don't use WD-40 because it'll stay slippery. I was taking off my old clutch and the threads fell apart on this tool. That's no good no more. I won't be able to put my belt on. That sucks. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'll put it upside down and tighten this up. Reinstalling it, you actually reinstall it upside down or right side up. This is upside down only because it's easy to get these bolts off. And now I could just back this off. Both the inner portion and the outer portion of the sheaves have arrows on them. And all you gotta do is line up the arrows. But now obviously there's holes on the secondary helix that you need to pay attention to, and I'll show you guys that in a second. So I don't need that right now. These are all good. If you guys have to clean them up because you have maybe like belt worn on, you can hit them with some what do you call that, Scotch-Brite, and clean up the surface. Not too deep, just get off all the nasty stuff. Also use acetone, that cleans them up real good. We'll take this guy off. Oop. So this spring is Evolution Power Sports purple spring, and it's purple because it has a stripe for purple. We're gonna reuse that. What we're changing now is this guy. This helix has a different angle to it than the one that's recommended. So I'm gonna swap this out. So this helix here is our new helix, and it's a 45 cut. And supposedly this is gonna give me better low end torque since I have a big giant school bus. You know, if it was a lightweight 2-seater, maybe this wouldn't be the case and they'd recommend something else. I can't recommend anything to you guys. I'm not an expert at clutching, but we do offer all these products on the website. And for general, like stage 3, stage 5, E85 tunes, those general tunes, I can recommend you a clutch kit because there's already presets that Evo recommends. So this is the guy that's gonna go back on. Now we're actually gonna do this upside down, or right side up, I should say. So this guy's gonna go down like this, just how it was. And this guy goes like this. We'll line up the arrows in a second, but there'll be an arrow, let's see here, an arrow here, and a matching one on the opposite side. So the spring has tangs on it on both ends. It doesn't matter which way it goes as long as the tanks go in the groove here. Whoops. And there's a hole right there. And this also matches on this hole. So you match up the holes here. You put the tang through the chingazo or chingadera, as some of you guys have said. And then the helix, every time you're installing one of these Evolution Power Sports helix that has the adjustability, normally you want to put it always to full negative. And right there you can see it's at -45, this is 0, and this is 45. So this changes pretty much the tension on that spring. And when you install one of these, if you put it at the least tension, then it's a lot easier to install it, like we're going to do right now. And you can adjust it later on the car to the desired spot, which in this case probably be back to 0. And if we need to make any adjustments for RPM, we can go back and forth. So now we're gonna line this up on hole 5. Make sure that's locked in place. Put this on a hole 5. It's pretty easy to tell that the helix is gonna sit right in there, right? Now I'm gonna loosen up these bolts and I'm gonna show you guys what would happen if we had it in the 0 marker. So just for example, like right now at negative, full negative, we can clear the roller. If you had it like a regular stock helix or some of these other aftermarket helixes and you were always at 0, then when you're trying to compress this, you actually have to fight the spring and move it over while you're pushing down on it to get the tool all together and push it down. Now, it's not a big deal. You can do it, but normally you need 2 people. And in this case, I could do this by myself. I'll leave it at full negative. I can install it, push this all the way down, compress it, install my 3 bolts from the bottom. And then on the car, we can adjust this to 0 or to any other spot, which may be necessary depending on, you know, what the RPMs are on my machine. So there's many ways to adjust RPMs. One way is this helix. You have about, I think, I think it was like 100 to 200 RPMs adjustment just on the helix alone. The other way obviously is weights. So when you add more power, you usually need more weight. So it's all pretty much just a balance of the output of power, and then from the trans output to the wheels, everything has to be in balance. And there's wizards out there that know exactly what they're talking about, and I definitely follow them, not me. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Put this on top, and holy crap, this spring is freaking tough. That's one reason. Oh my God. Whew. That's one reason this is nice, because the new spring is stiffer than the OEM one. So you're already trying to fight it down. Imagine trying to fight it down and rotate it over. It can be a pain in the butt, unless, like I said, you got two people. And even then, it could be a little bit of pain in the butt, depending on what your setup. Turn this upside down. We'll line up these bolts and the arrows. So here's the arrow. And here's the arrow. We'll line up the two arrows. Jesus Christ, come on. Put the bolts back in. So sometimes you want to put a little bit of blue Loctite on those 3 bolts. Or not sometimes, but you should have blue Loctite. It already has a bunch from the last time I did this, so I'm not going to bother putting a whole bunch more. So this will go back to its resting position. All right, so Evil came out with this tool not that long ago, and it pretty much follows the cutouts of the secondary. And what I could do here is adjust this guy. We'll loosen them up just a little bit more so we have more room to play with it. And then we'll get ready to tighten it up because I'm trying to move it. Boom, right there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that up. That's the 0 marker. You do want to make sure that these are in the holes all the way correctly. Now this is a lot easier in the car, because in the car, this would be against the primary shaft or the primary clutch, and you only have to worry about moving the screwdriver. But it's where it's supposed to be now. I'm at 0, and that's how you replace a helix. Now, obviously, when you do a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 5 tune, and you're gonna get the matching, you know, primary weights and helix package. We have these on the website, but just know that this is the same exact process, except for it'll be on a different hole as far as the spring goes. It may be a different spring, but essentially it's the same exact process. And really all you need is one of these guys, or even better will be Evil's proprietary clutch tool setup, because with that one, especially for like the primary and this one, it has tools to compress a secondary, also remove the governor cup off a primary, and it's just a full tool set for the older style clutches, or they have the newer style for the newer P-drive clutches. So that's all available for you guys, but that's pretty much how you replace that. Oh man, that was so easy. That never happens. Whew, so that's good to go. I got a bunch of little dumb stuff to put on, like obviously the belt. I don't have a tool. I need to put that back on and that back on, and a lot of little knickknacks that are boring, but I am gonna run it for you guys and make sure this is all good to go as far as the coolant level. Once I put the coolant level to where I need it, I could put on the rest of the SMB stuff. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, oh, the SMB will kill power to your new big turbo, and I fully understand that, but again, this thing is my desert bus, and I'm not out here trying to get crazy 0-60 records or anything like that. I'm just trying to have fun, and this thing should move, and we're gonna be happy. So let's turn it on. Well, boy, she sounds good. That E85 smells beautiful. She should be a Skookum Choocher. A lot of fucking smoke everywhere. I had already loaded up the tune. So she should be good to go. The check engine light is on, but I had checked the codes the other day when I turned it on, and it's for the freaking power steering. So I disabled the power steering on this machine. I actually got an aftermarket power steering. This was back in the days of the Sand Show. So it's just that power steering, no communication with the power steering. Woo! This thing's smoking. I better check it for leaks. Ah, follow me. Ah. Yeah, just coming off the turbo. I should probably back this thing up and wash it down because there was a bunch of coolant on the skid plate. Stick around. Y'all, I know a lot of you guys getting all mad and hurt. Frankie, why is there so many Razor videos? I'm fucking waiting for parts over here. What do you want me to do?
What the fuck is the matter with you?
Opportunity's coming, I gotta take them. I sure as hell ain't gonna be no sellout. But don't get it wrong. I'm just gonna back it up so this stuff won't fall off. Hope not. What an idiot. What an idiot. I didn't put the belt back on. You know I didn't put the belt back on because I don't have the tool. I'm gonna end it right here. I'm a dumbass. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. It's late. It's time to eat dinner. We'll see you guys at the King of the Hammers. Favorite event of the year. It's gonna be badass. It already is badass. Bunch of clips flowing around Instagram and on Facebook and the lives on YouTube. Big shout out to Ultra 4 and the event they put up. It is absolutely amazing. Some of the best coverage with a ton of 360, not 360, FPV, drones. It's just so good, but we will be out there. See you there.